So what's going on with Blackburn Rovers? We win not once, not twice, but 3 times on a row. What's going on? We'll talk about it next. That's right, folks, back once again with another match review, this time looking back at Blackburn Rovers' victory over QPR at Loftus Road, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe button, keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, championship related, world football, we're going to all here under one roof. Now, before we jump into the thick of things and tell you about that match, I'm going to just another big old tease for you. Coming up on a couple of days' time, really, Blackburn Rovers up against Bolton, and I'm going to do an instant reaction live over on Twitch. Link to that channel is over in the old description down below. Make sure you stop by, just say hello. We'll talk about the Rovers game. We'll talk about Bolton. I think they are down. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But we'll talk about anything you want. It is an open forum. Chat amongst yourselves. Chat amongst with me, and there's going to be lots to do and see and do. It's not just this ugly mug that you'll get to see. You'll get to see a lot of stats as and when they happen. So that is over on Twitcheroony on Monday, Good Monday, Easter Monday, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, let's jump into the thick of things and take a look at the match in a bit more detail. It did take place over at Loftus Road. 13,632 were in attendance to see Rovers coming out on top. 2-1 winners over QPR in a game that we dominated. We bossed it, boys. We had our boss hat on, just like the gaffer. He had his boss shirt on today. You can see that over on the old Twitter, the Twitter sphere. The old Mowbray wearing his boss shirt. Okay, yeah, the goals coming from Big DG, 22nd minute on the clock. Penalty. Man was brought down. To be honest with you, my mind is boggling. I can't remember who was brought down. I'm going to have a stab at... was it Travis or Evans? I think it was one of those two that got bundled down in the box. And then up stepped Big DG, obviously, in Charlie Mulgrew's absence. The old skipper was on the bench today, didn't get any game time. But Graham squeezed it in there past Joe Lumley, or whatever her name is, Alex Lumley, Steve Lumley, whatever the Lumley it is, between the sticks. And it was 1-0 Rovers, but that didn't tell the story, to be honest with you. We tried, we pressed. We could have had more than that. Armstrong missed a couple of blazing opportunities. So did Dack. Even Travis had a long-ranging effort of a shot. Or was it Evans? But anyway, Rovers pressed and they tried to get a second, but they had to wait. Early into the second half, literally within 30 seconds, Rovers doubled their tally. Bradley Dack headed home. I believe he headed home. Adam Armstrong's cross. The way I'm talking is that you think I didn't even see the game, but I did. I was there, glued to the screen. But I'm just mind-boggling at the moment. But anyway, Bradley Dack smashed it home, just as Danny Graham was thinking, you know what, I'm going to go get this top goal scoring honour from Rovers. But no, Bradley Dack stepped up to the plate and regained the lead. I think he has 16 goals to Bradley Dack's 15. We'll have a look at the old details of that in the old match preview for the Bolton game. But that was 2-0, and it looked like job done. Deep until the stoppage time, though, Matty Smith, substitute for QPR, made it a little bit interesting, a little bit hairy. 2-1 in the end, as the 6 minutes of injury time ticked by. QPR could not find their way once again, so Rovers walked away with, like I said, their 3rd win on the bounce. Back-to-back away wins as well. All the statisticians out there, when was the last time that happened? I have no idea. But anyway, let's take a look at some of the stats there for you. 19 shots for QPR on the night, 12 for Rovers. The QPR, or the R's, had 50%, or let's say 51% of the possession. We had 49. They also had better successes with their passing, 65% compared to our 60. They had more dribbles. We hardly dribbled at all. According to this, 0 dribbles. They also won the aerial battles. We won the tackles on the ground. They had more corners as well. Let's take a look at the starting 11s. Lumley between the sticks, Manning, Lynch, Furlong and Wszolek at the back 4. As for the midfield, Osayi-Samuel, very good player. Might be a little bit immature, but still rough around the edges, but very fast, creative. Any danger really coming from the left-hand side, where he was out-muscling Elliot Bennett once or twice. Scowen, Cousins, Freeman across midfield, Luongo in a supporting role there, and up top, Hemed, unfortunately, could not get a goal for the R's today. Anyway, how about Rovers? Well, they look lined up like this. Shock surprise between the sticks. Lautweiler, the Mountie, came in and he pretty much flapped at his chance to probably get a new deal for Rovers. He looked very ropey, And I think, to be honest with you, that spells the end of the Mounties' reign at Rovers. 2-year reign. He's been here since we were in League One. But yeah, I don't think he's won a new deal. Amari Bell left back, Williams, Lenihan and Bennett at right back. I'm telling you what now, we might have a new partnership on our hands in the centre of midfield. Williams and Lenihan looked absolutely solid. Obviously, teammates for club and country, both Irish internationals. Travis Evans in the centre midfield spots. Travis lunging in a couple times. Obviously, very young and still got a lot of talent to learn, but he was the boss of midfield today alongside Corey Evans. Bradley Dack was there at a creative best. Lots of opportunities, and again, he's scoring the goal. Armstrong was probably my man of the match. We'll see my match ratings in just a second. Rothwell and Big DG up top. Here are those match ratings. Lowell with a 5, Maribel with a 6, Lenihan and Williams both with 8. Elliot Bennett got a 7 at right back. Travis got a 7. Evans got a 6. Dack got a 7. Armstrong got an 8 despite not scoring. Rothwell got a 5 and DG got a 6 despite scoring. That might be a bit harsh on DG there. You might want a little bit more. Anyway, if you want to check out the heat maps just like me, because I'm a heat map man, here are them. A quick look at, it looks like Loutweiler was under a lot of pressure, and also on the right hand side of midfield, which would mean that Rothwell or Armstrong, they might flip-flop a little bit. But those were the hot areas for the day. Quick look at some other stats for you here. We had more, no, they had more, no, we did have more passes than QPR, 328 to their 323, and we also had more touches, 524 to their 515. Down the bottom there, you can see whereabouts those shots, both odd and off target, ended up. Obviously 2 of those for Rovers in the back of the net. So yeah, strong performance all in all, and then yeah, just adds another win to the win column in the old table, which we'll look in just a second. In fact, let's take a look at some of those other results in and around the Championship. Obviously, Norwich against Sheffield Wednesday had yet to take place as of recording, so that will probably change the look of the table in a minute. But anyway, Bristol City managed to pick up a 1-1 draw in one of the early games against Reading. Sheffield United ousted Notts Forest to get into second spot. Millwall drew with Brentford as well to give themselves a valuable point. As for the rest of the games that took on the same time as Rovers, well, the most important one besides Blackburn against QPR was Bolton. They lost to QPR, they lost to Aston Villa and are down. It's official. They have been relegated. I was hoping we would have the honour of that. Birmingham and Derby managed a 2-2 draw. Middlesbrough picked up a 1-0 win against Stoke. They're getting back into the thick of things. Preston looking absolutely boss against Ipswich Town, 4-0 winners. West Brom squeezed past Hull 3-2. And Swansea, another one of the opponents that we got to take on back in the season, last game of the season actually, they beat Rotherham. Let's take a look at that table now. Norwich are top of the pops, 4 points clear of both Sheffield United and Leeds with a game in hand. They cannot get promoted today. They'll have to wait till at least Easter Monday. Sheffield United in second. Leeds has missed an opportunity to regain second spot with their loss. West Brom, Villa and Borough now occupy the playoff spots. As for the bottom, Ipswich down, Bolton down, Rotherham could also go down very, very soon. In fact, if they lose, would they go down? I don't know. No, they can hang on a little bit longer. They can hang on a little bit longer. They obviously 3 points adrift of Millwall, who do have a game in hand. But anyway, they got it all to do. As for Rovers, up to 14th now, and win for our next game, we could go as high as 11th. How crazy is that? As for our opposition today, QPR are in 17th spot. So, yes. What's going on next for Blackburn Rovers? Obviously taking on Bolton, and you can catch that live on Twitch with me, boys and girls. Obviously, I'm not going to show you the footage of the game, but I will be there giving you my input of who's playing, what's going on, how close, how many goals we're going to stick past them League One outfit who are masquerading as a Championship team. But yeah, I'll be live on Twitch. Link to that sucker in the old description below. I'll tease it one more time. Don't you worry, it's coming. But elsewhere on the old Good Monday, Easter Monday business, Aston Villa take on Millwall in the early game. Sheffield Wednesday take on Bristol. Derby County take on QPR. Today's opponents, Wigan, take on Preston. They look to have just done enough, Wigan, to stay in the division, which is really rough. Rotherham do need to win against Birmingham to make it a little bit more interesting. Stoke take on Norwich. That's going to be deadly. Ipswich up against Swansea. Forest against Borough as well. Hull, Sheffield United, Reading, West Brom and Brentford against Leeds in the late kickoff, boys and girls. Now you've heard a little bit what I have to say about the match. Now, what did the gaff have to say? Here he is with his thoughts and opinions after the final whistle at Loftus Road.
Not really. If we'd have been scrambling for points to stay in the division, it might have been a bit nervy, but we're not. It's we came just to play today, to try and express ourselves, try and give them some problems, spread out, try and play 2 strikers, 2 wide players, and I think we did that. I thought we got in behind them a lot today. I thought we had the better chances, and I think the result was right. I think they worked really hard, as you would expect, and ultimately their directness gave us some problems. But I thought we deserved to win today, and happy for the players and the supporters who travelled on a Good Friday that we did. I think it's time to give the goalkeeper a chance, really. I'm generally pretty faithful to my goalkeepers, and they're allowed to make some mistakes along the way, as he did today for their goal, to be honest. But I think David Rea has sat him down this week and told him, time to change, time to have a look, time to, if your number 2 goalie never gets a game, you're never going to know when you need him in an emergency. When your number 1 gets injured and he has to go and play, then you have to have faith in him and trust him, and he has to have the confidence that he's been on the pitch and he's played, and that's all that was today. Just towards the end of the season, just giving him some game time, really. Fine, no problem whatsoever, to be honest. I think, listen, David's dropped below the standards that he set himself last season. This is his first year ever at this level of football. I think he's still got lots to learn. I think he's a fantastic young goalkeeper who's very agile. I think he's a work in progress. I think it won't do him any harm to sit on the bench and listen to some of my comments on, like, their goal today. Goalkeeper's got to be more positive. The modern day goalie has to dominate his 18-yard box, really, not stand on his line and try and make saves. They have to come and catch things, affect things, distribute the ball quickly into the team, be good with their feet. So work in progress, both of them, to be honest. And I've told them goalkeeper is one of the areas that we'll be looking in the summer to try and strengthen and then create just better competition. I'm really respectful of QPR. They work very, very hard. They've got some good players. It's a fantastic club. I remember coming here in the 80s, playing on the AstroTurf here, and Terry Venables being a manager, and then playing like Brazil, to be honest. But I'd be respectful to them. I thought they worked really hard. I think we did deserve to win today. I thought we created some great chances, got into some great positions. But that's been a little bit of an Achilles heel for our team. Through the bad run, we would always create chances and could have won football matches. But final ball, final cross, final finish, it's never quite been right. And yet, Dack and Graham both scored today, up to 16 and 17 goals each this season. Isn't a bad return in the Championship for them, and that's Bradley's first ever season in the Championship, and so he's done exceptionally well. And let's just keep rolling. Let's see if we can finish the season strong and try and get some momentum for next year. Yeah, I think so. I think I've always said through the season, really, we're going to get some young players. Our 23s have been exceptionally good this year. I think they've played some fantastic football, scored some great goals, got some very talented individuals who can pick the right pass, and I think the time is coming. And yet, the team who's just won 3 on the bounce, you don't really just want to not bin them all, but put them all to one side and put a team of kids in. You have to get the balance right. So we might have some youngsters on the bench in the next few games, and if we can get the opportunity to put them on, then we'll take that opportunity. Yeah, and that's a dangerous game for us. We have to make sure we apply ourselves properly. As I say, if we're looking for momentum, sometimes happens, really. Relegated teams play with the freedom, and they just go out and express themselves and play forward, and that can be dangerous. So we have to be professional and try and it's a local derby, and they'll be bringing some supporters, I would imagine. That might create an atmosphere, and it's a good game for us, one that we're looking forward to. I mean, I'm hoping wherever they played today, was it at home? It was scorching like it is today, because that would have took a lot out of those players today. I'm not sure it would have been scorching in that part of the world, but anyway, let's wait and see what Monday brings. We'll make some changes on Monday, but we'll again be very respectful of the opposition, because they're Phil Parkinson's a very, very good manager, and they've got some good players. I managed Amiobi and a few of their players, to be honest. Obviously, Jason Lowe's there. I think he's injured at the moment, who's a player, but Andrew Taylor at left back, David Wotsa, all players that I managed, and have very good players and honest players, and I'm sure they'll come and give a really good account of themselves.
Meanwhile, what's been going on social media? Well, let's take a little listen at some of the old Rovers fans. Chris Martin said this. Remember last week when I said that Latweiler should start and goal for the last few games so Ryan can go and get his nose fixed? Good. Right. Well, forget I said anything. Hashtag Rovers. Hashtag Viva Soft Goal. Meanwhile, Russell Prescott said this. The last few games have convinced me that when Dacky is on his game, Rovers perform well. 2, Trav is by far our best and most important midfielder. 3, Armour is unstoppable when playing to his strengths. 4, Lenihan is future captain. And 5, Williams better at centre-back than Mulgrew. And I am going to vouch for you on that one. Meanwhile, Talk of Ewood said this. Armstrong, Dack, Graham, Rothwell, Travis, Lenihan, Williams today, top class. Bell, Bennett and Evans, all good as well. Buzzing with that performance. Chance to really express ourselves against Bolton now, who are doomed. Meanwhile, Matt Stilto said this. A hat-trick of wins with back-to-back victories on the road, and Rovers finishing the season in style. That's why they call it Good Friday, folks. Yellows. Meanwhile, Nick Trigg said this, played well all game, but gave away the ball easy at the end and made it a bit more uncomfortable than should have been. Not sure about Lightweiler. Get in the line, mate. I completely agree. He's a calamity at best, and definitely we need a fiercer competition for Rio. NYC Rovers. So my Rovers Gnome was destroyed by high winds in January. Rovers won 2 of the next 12 matches. I find cleared up the broken pieces after the Stoke loss, and Rovers have won 3 on the spin. It's all my fault, he says, with a big old hashtag. Meanwhile, the Queen of England, she's out and about. What a win. Absolutely incredible. 3 on the bounce of the lads. Let's go on to Monday night with our heads held high. Meanwhile, Bet365 said this. Name of the best midfielders from different countries and from England. Bradley Dack. Brazil, Daquinho. From Italy, Bradley Daccarelli. From France, it's Bradley Dack. From the Dutch land, Bradley Van der Dack. Spain, Bradley Dakiesta. From Denmark, Bradley Dackerson. From Croatia, Dakovic. From Iceland, Bradley Dackerson. And from somewhere, Gambon, Brad Emmerich and Babadak. And wrapping it up, Simon Fish said this. Well done, Rovers. Happy with that. The Forum boys won't be happy, but no doubt they'll find something to moan about. And speaking of the Forum boys, let's roll into it. Jack Anori said this. Good result. 3 in the trot. Have to give credit where credit's due. We've gone on to higher placed teams and won whilst also taking a win at home against mighty Frank Lampard's Derby County. Was a little annoyed with no youngsters on the bench after what he has been saying all week. So hoping we get to see someone against Bolton, seeing as they're already down. Big Dog Steele said this. I think the away win vindicates Mowbray's team selection. Honest question, can those who wanted more youngsters to start hold their hand up and say they wouldn't have criticised Mowbray if we lost? I wanted a different team, but if we lost, I wouldn't be happy. Now I am. And Butty said this. Nobody wants to be the team who gets into next season on the back of finishing the previous season in terrible form. Yes, it would be nice to see a few of the under-23s get a chance, but you cannot be delighted at running 3 on the bounce. Hopefully make it 4 on Monday against Bolton side, who had their relegation from League One confirmed today. Tom Phil also said this. Unpredictable league, unpredictable team selections, unpredictable run of results and form. All this from a manager whose actual football style and faith in certain players is usually entirely frustratingly predictable. Real rollercoaster season, but who wants to draw every week anyway? Plenty good entertainment in spells to break up the dour stuff, which just adds to the frustration, I suppose. Great win. Not too sure that post is actually a little bit confusing, but maybe if you read the whole thread, maybe it explains it a little bit better. Anyway, Arbitrio said this just on the back on the train. I have to say, I was surprised that none of the kids were involved, despite the assurances from Mowbray that once we were safe, he would. It seems crazy that 2 weeks running now, we are coasting with a 2-goal lead, and 2 different keepers make ridiculous errors and put us under pressure. For me, now it's the #1 priority to bring in a decent keeper. Williams was again outstanding at centre-half and played what I feel is the pass of the season. A 60-yard ball over the full-back and straight into Armstrong's stride. Lennon wasn't far behind him again. Travis once again excelled, as did Rothwell. Well, I thought Rothwell was a little bit bland today, but hey, you can't, he's just finding his feet. And I'm hoping to see more of him. Brereton, maybe even Davenport. And do we give Latweiler another go against Bolton? Well, we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, folks, that's pretty much all I've got for you today, folks. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a good old thumbs up. Please, please, please. It does wonders for the old algorithm and all that kind of good stuff. And if you're new to the channel, smash the subscribe, folks. Links to my other social media platforms are in there, including Twitter, Facebook, and of course, my new Patreon is live. Are you going to be my very first Patreon? You can be making rolling donations, $1 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever you feel like. Check out the old link to my Patreon account. Have a good old leisure. I don't make any money from this channel as of recording. Maybe it will be something that progresses a little bit later on into the future. And speaking of the future, come Monday, we'll be live on Twitch. I'm getting everywhere. I'm getting absolutely everywhere. Yes, and we're going to do a live instant reaction or live reaction show. 2-hour block, 2.5 hour block of watching Blackburn Rovers. I'll have the match stats live as and when they take place. Video printer to see who goes up, who goes down. Live tables, all that kind of good stuff. Lots and lots of visual stimulation to keep you occupied instead of staring at this ugly mug. But anyway, folks, I'm going to get out of here. I've got lots to do. Easter is just around the corner, and I've got bits and pieces to do. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash a thumbs up. If you do, smash the subscribe. Back tomorrow with the preview for the Bolton game, who are down. Unfortunately, we don't have the honour of relegating them suckers, but hopefully they all enjoy their football in League One. Let's get some wins under their belt, and they'll be back again. Anyway, until then, thumbs up, subscribe. Ciao. Thanks again for watching. Please like, share, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, football related. We've got it all covered right under one roof. And while I still have you, please be sure to check out some of the old videos scattered along here. I hope.